Your Excellency, thank you very much for making time for us. Well, first of all, Seychelles is a beautiful island country that relies, it's fair to say, heavily on the oceans. How has Seychelles been balancing between ocean conservation and economic interest?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for your kind words about Seychelles. And as I say, you're most welcome to come and visit and enjoy the beauty.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Well, first of all, you've also got to look at the main industry, which is tourism. And with the tourism industry, we also look at the blue economy. And in the blue economy, we look at different aspects of what will keep us sustainable. Because if we put emphasis on mass tourism, this will also have an effect on what happens to the oceans and the whole environment. So, one, Seychelles is committed to protecting the oceans, and this is why even the BB&J, we haven't waited for 2030 in order for us to take concrete actions. It's only now that countries are starting to ratify, and Seychelles is the third country to ratify the High Seas Treaty. But we are already protecting over 30% of the 1.4 million square kilometers that represents Seychelles. As far as the protection of the mangroves and seagrass, we're now moving on to 100%. So, which means that we are really concerned about the ocean. Industrial fishing is now controlled. There are quotas for tuna fishing. When it comes to protecting the artisanal sector, we also have limitations on, for example, the size of certain species that can be caught. And soon we will move into the direction of having a closed season for octopus fisheries. We already have one for lobster, and even for sea cucumber.
Right.
Because all these need to be protected, and once we can protect these species, it will also mean that we are protecting the ocean, which is very close to our hearts.
And you have a very special way in terms of ocean conservation. You issued the blue bonds. Would you share with us more of that, how it works?
Well, some years back, together with the World Bank, the initiative came about, and blue bonds were established, and very successfully. And we are very, very proud that today other countries, other island states are going into that same direction. But we also had the debt swap for conservation. And this has meant that with the money received, we've been able to help projects, people who have projects related to the ocean and to environment conservation in general, have been able to receive seed money. And this has helped. And every year, applications are open, and the best projects get assistance. For example, one of the beneficiaries this year has been the Seychelles Islands Foundation, which manages the atoll of Aldabra, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And they've received money for them to embark on a project to eliminate rats and cats. And what will this mean? Because this is again linked directly to ocean conservation. If we manage to do that, it will mean that the bird population on that atoll will go up by 750 times. It will mean that with more birds, the guano from the birds will help protect the corals, and therefore the sea life will be further enhanced.
Right.
And the biomass of the fish in the Aldabra region will increase. So everything is linked, interlinked, and this is where we've always got to go back to the science.
Yeah.
And this is why I like this conference, talking about the science we need.
For the ocean we want.
For the ocean we want.
Yeah,
exactly.
and in that course, actually, international collaboration is crucial.
Crucial.
Yeah, and I know that Seychelles and China has formed a Blue Partnership. Can you tell us more about the cooperation between the two countries?
Well, China and Seychelles have always been very good friends, and there's been collaboration on many areas. And this cooperation will continue to grow.
And any potential for future cooperation in terms of ocean conservation between the two countries?
Well, we are open, and our Blue Economy Department works with every country, and let us see what other areas we can embark on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, because Seychelles is one of the strong supporters of China's Belt and Road blue initiative, so there might be a lot of projects in the future. And about the Ocean Decade, you just spoke at the ceremony of the Ocean Decade Conference this year. How would you evaluate the impact of the Ocean Decade initiative in terms of protecting the interests of island countries, which are mostly developing countries but rely heavily on the sea?
Well, I think the decade itself is bringing about the awareness that is important, because we had taken the oceans for granted. But now that science is putting greater emphasis, and we are getting a better understanding of the oceans, the role of the oceans, and how taking care of the oceans also means taking care of humanity. Because without the oceans, we will, as a race, simply disappear. So I think it's very important what is happening, and the research that is being done in various parts of the world, cleaning up the oceans, giving it back the life that it needs, putting emphasis on conservation. So I think all in all, it's the decision to have an ocean decade where we put the emphasis, and I've seen that in my own country. I mentioned it in my speech, the collaboration between Monaco and Seychelles, the video, the documentary that was filmed yesterday, and many other collaboration that we have. It's just about highlighting the need for all of us to protect the ocean, and Seychelles is definitely a partner the world can depend on. But however, we also want the world to understand our vulnerabilities. We are island states, and whatever happens in the industrialized world, we receive the brunt of the effects. So we are now faced with coastal erosion. The rise in sea level is affecting our islands, and this is why we are also calling for the establishment of the MVI, the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index, so that we are not looked at. It's not our success that matters, but also giving us the possibility to have access to concessional financing, because now the West is saying, you are high income, and therefore we cannot give you assistance. And here, I appreciate China not looking at us this way, or else we would not be receiving the collaboration and the assistance. So the world needs to look at us in that light, and this will help us, instead of putting money that should have gone into education, into health, and other sectors of society, developing the SDGs, we have to divert those funds into protecting the coast. So if we could have the world understand this, then we would do much better, and we would play a more important role in protecting the ocean.